folks, this is GreenXI welcoming you right back to Let's Play Higurashi. This is episode 142. In last episode we went through all of chapter 2 and we basically just saw that Satoko is having injections and tests, and we avoided the whole Mion and Shion catastrophe, the torture arc, by Keiichi giving the doll to Mion. So that was pretty much everything that happened, right? As well as the club game and trying to avoid fate. Keiichi trying to avoid fate by Vika telling him that's going to screw everything up if we play the same games over and over, or something along those lines. Anyways, let's get going with this episode. Don't know if it'll be as long as the last one. That was a whole chapter in one, so you'll know before me. This is quite light-hearted so far. At least this part. Okay, it's just the music. What? I know I've heard some people mention it before, but they were serious about that? This world always has a lot of nice suggestions, but they're mostly out of politeness, right? They're just something you laugh off and reply with. That would be nice. But those ideas generally end as jokes, so it's crazy when they turn real. Yeah, I'm serious. Uncle Yoshiro was giving you a ton of praise too. He said it was amazing how well that pop-up pirate game went in the toy store yesterday. I had no idea you could play that game like that. Well, make it pop up. What? I should mention that some of the kids around my table wanted to play with you too. Keiichi is a genius when it comes to playing games, but it's just luck-based pop-up pirate, isn't it? Just chuck a sword in and see if he pops up. You know, I wasn't just playing around, I was giving it my all, because I had no choice but to win. Looks like we're being Keiichi this time though. I guess we made it look like a lot of fun for the audience though. You definitely have a blast no matter what club activity you're doing, Kai-chan. Oh, sure. The coach was saying that the Higurashi fighters would be so happy if you joined the team. That's very true. Dr. Ire had nothing but great things to say about you at the meeting last night, Mayabara-kun. You have the ability to bring people joy and far more than you think you do. You think so? This old man didn't mention your name just because you're his friend. He did it because he's confident you can do the job. I was there at the meeting too, and no one was against the idea. Mayabara-kun, you honestly do have a good reputation around the village. Yay. I've heard good things about you in Okinamaya too. What you did in the match between the Higurashi fighters and the Okinamaya Titans was legendary. Really was incredible. Was that when he played golf instead of baseball? The reporters were there to see Kamida-san, but they were more impressed by you. They're talking about that rigged baseball match I set up with Kamida-kun. The public did end up believing that talented pitcher walked me out of fear for my insight. Kamida-kun and I have entered a strange relationship since then, but I'd really rather not talk about it right now. What do you think, Keiichi-kun? I think you can do it. I'm backing you up too. I definitely think you should be in charge of the Watanagashi Planning Committee. Tanagashi is an annual village festival held in June, cotton drifting. It's supposed to be the biggest event in the village, and most of the people living here gather together for it. Since this is a major event, they always organise a committee to plan out the festival a few months in advance. The festival's only 2 weeks away, and I just moved to this village. But now they want me to join that committee? Look, first of all, I don't even know what you do in a committee. You don't need to be too concerned about it. The job we unanimously want you to fill is hosting the auction. What the hell's that? Do you want me to sell bananas or something? Well, let me explain. We're holding an auction event for the first time this year. We're going to auction off donated items just to see how it turns out. There's kind of a long story behind it. We wanted to do something in which everyone can participate, using donated items as prizes. But the elder members decided to distribute the prizes using something other than a lottery for their own reasons. Suspicious. Pretty simply, our hag of a grandmother let her temper get to her and wouldn't back down after that. She didn't really consider any specifics. Yep. Anyway, we had to come up with how to utilise those donated items. At that point, we thought of doing an auction. Makes sense. That sounds like fun. You might be able to get something good for a really cheap price. Okay, I'm back. The items were all donated, so they were free, huh? That committee sure is good at making money. The profit will be going into the beer fund for the village committee's winter getaway trip. It's not fair. You're not ready for beer yet, Fruity-san. If only you knew. I think I understand what's going on now. But still, I've never done anything like it before. I'm sure you can do it, Keiichi-kun. I bet you'd do really well if they told you that you get to keep 10% of the profits. Yeah. If I can gain something for producing results, then I'll do my best at it. Fair enough. On the other hand, you might be facing a dreadful penalty game if you don't produce anything. Wait a minute, Sadako. Why would I agree to a risky deal like that? Don't forget, they're the ones asking for my help. I'm a very busy guy, you know. Try asking my agent first. Ha! Alright, Kei-chan. If you want some kind of compensation, we can talk about it. I really want you to be a part of this. We can make a deal. That sounds interesting. I wonder what I should ask for. We're always talking about punishments, but it's our first time talking about a reward. That is quite strange for this group. That's true. We're always fighting for something, huh? Ren is right. The whole purpose of our club activities is to escape the punishments we come up with. Even if we win, we never get a prize or reward for it. Seems pointless when you put it that way. Keiichi has no idea how to respond to something that sounds too good to be true. Maybe Mi-chan can come up with a good idea. It's hard to decide on what you want, isn't it? Let me see. How about this? An admission ticket to Angel Mort's dessert fiesta. Oh, sounds good. I'd love to go to a dessert place. Don't be too cheap, sis. Why don't you give him 3 years worth of admission? Hey, that sounds more like a deluxe reward to me. I heard that some people pay lots of money for that ticket. You sure you can hook me up with 3 years worth of admission? Of course I can, but you have to do a good job. I'm sure he will. With Keiichi-kun there, it's going to be heaps of fun. I feel the same way. I'm really looking forward to the auction now. Yeah, you could probably get people to line up for takoyaki. Yeah, that doesn't even contain octopus. Hey, takoyaki without octopus? That's impossible. I'm not a fan of it, octopus. I've had squid rings. Not, sort of octopus. I wasn't a fan. No, I'm pretty sure you could do it. Yeah. You'd probably say it was a healthier kind of takoyaki. Yeah. You making fun of me or what? So, what do you think, Maibara-kun? I think you'll do a wonderful job. Chie-sensei was also on the committee. She must have backed up Mion's suggestion when she brought my name up after their last meeting. Or at it. I'd also love to see what kind of magic you can do. Nipa. A good auction always depends on how good a speaker the host is. Sounds like it's going to be Keiichi Maibara's big show. It'll be so much fun just to watch. Hey, I haven't accepted the offer yet. Don't worry, Keiichi-kun, you can do it. You're saying that because you don't have to. Oh, that's not true. The principal suddenly opened his mouth. Are we going to get art for him? Nope. No. Maibara-kun, in my opinion, you'll do a fine job. As a man, isn't it your responsibility to meet people's expectations? If I had to, I'm sure I could do it. Mion has made me do so many different things for the club. I've learned a lot from that. Besides, this would be the first time I could get a reward without having to worry about punishment. It should be fun too. This was the first time so many people were counting on me like this. To be honest, it made me pretty happy. Still, I was worried about getting dragged into something that required a lot of work. I couldn't erase that thought from my mind, but I was in Hinamazawa. The people in this village would never do anything to betray me. They genuinely believed that it would do a lot to liven up the festival if I became the host of their auction. I've only been here for a short period of time, but I know that the people here are honest and kind. Fine. As a man, I'm gonna do it. I'll take care of it. Wait and see. I'll make it the greatest auction in the world. Don't forget to get me that Angel Mort pass. I'll make sure to do a good enough job that I'll deserve 10 years worth of tickets. Good for you, Kei-chan. Everyone gave me a round of applause. How many times had this happened in my life? Not once. This was the first time I'd ever been applauded. Oh. By the way, I'm surprised that no one disagreed with this suggestion at the meeting. There were lots of old people in the village committee. I'm a young guy who only just moved here. I've known for a while that Mion has a lot of influence locally, but I couldn't believe that everyone in the committee would accept it just like that. Most of them are just that kind of hard-headed old people. Oh. But the new generation is gradually taking over, you know? We won the dam conflict, and now we're aiming to build a new era and grow more and more prosperous. That's why we value the involvement of young people and people from outside the village too. You're young and you're from the city. You also have a good reputation, so you're the perfect guy for this. I have a good reputation, huh? I have no idea why so many people have heard of me. It's something to do with Michan's punishments, I think. I knew it. Alright then. I'll call your parents about it tonight, so please let them know when you get back home today, okay? I'm sure my parents will have no problem with it. They won't have any objections to raise, at least. Objection! They might ask me why my name was brought up, though. Chie-sensei and the principal went back to the teacher's office after the discussion ended. We were in the middle of lunch break at the moment. Chie-sensei and the principal had come along together, and Mion scared me by saying that they had all had something to talk to me about. My stomach wasn't digesting my lunch particularly well. Oh my god, I'll talk. Let me talk. Come on, brain. My Bara-san, I heard everything. Good for you. It's a big honour being chosen by the village committee. Hey there, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun. I'd love to give that honour to you. No thank you, I won't be able to handle it. I realised the whole class was talking about me. They were saying how fun Watanagashi was going to be and how high their expectations were for it. I might have taken on a huge responsibility. I needed to do my best to succeed at it. By the way, I forgot something. My granny made tons of ohagi. She told me to give them to my classmates. Ooh. Mion clapped her hands as she remembered and took a box out of her bag. She opened the lid, letting us see a bunch of ohagi neatly packed inside. Wow, they really are a lot. I think there might be enough for everyone in the class to have one. Oh, they look so yummy and cute. For some reason, my granny is very good at making ohagi. That's because Suhai used to love them. Suhai? Ah yeah, I heard my gramps used to like ohagi. He ate tons of them. For your grandma, ohagi is something that makes her remember your late grandpa, huh? Ah. You think so? I thought gramps liked canned food. Like cat food? You don't like canned food, do you, Shion? What? Is that true? Why so? It's because of the smell. I just don't like the smell of the metal. Okay, I can't say I've ever noticed. Oh, is that so? After always forcing me to eat my squash, it turns out that you too have something you can't eat. Tell you the truth, she hates canned food because... Uh-oh. Come on, sis. Don't you dare tell anyone. I don't know what's going on, but it seems Mion knows the secret about Shion. Tell it to us. Go on. The reason why Shion doesn't like canned food must have been something pretty funny. The two sisters battled for a while. The machine gun knee kicks Mion launched from close quarters weren't bad, but I don't think she expected Shion to land a capture suplex off it. Guess Shion's the stronger of the two siblings. I'd rather tell you the truth than have you hear it from my sis. See, there's this bad guy named Kasai. He once told me, when I was still young and innocent, that there's sometimes human meat mixed in with canned food. Uh-oh. It's like when they say there's cat and dog food in Chinese food. Or cats and dogs, you know. I've heard of an urban legend like that before. Kasai is the bodyguard, right? The chauffeur, the bodyguard. Yeah. Me too. I once heard that there's dog meat mixed into beef bowls and worms inside burgers. Are you quite serious? I can never eat beef bowls or burgers again after hearing something like that. You see, Satko? It was a very traumatic thing for me. You have my sympathy, but I still have yet to forget about how you made me eat a full-course squash meal. You need to let go of that one. That meal was delicious. Because we're talking about this, I'm starting to get worried there might be something mixed into this ohagi too. Oh, a needle in every one. Oh? Well, at least with the ohagi that I brought, you can't really be sure that there's nothing else inside. Ohagi that Mion brought. When you consider that, it's only natural to suspect that she probably did something to them. What's going on? I felt like I was forgetting something. Here we go. But I didn't remember anything that I was forgetting. Oh. It was like one of those deja vu moments. I'd never been in this situation, but my mind was telling me that I'd been there before. What's wrong, Keiichi? Nothing. I just feel like Mion has given me a Hagi before. But this is the first time, right? Is it? Mi-chan? I think this is the first time. You must be mistaking it for something else. According to my memory, this is the first time Mion-san has brought a Hagi to school. I know. You're being cautious because these are from this old man, aren't you? Uh-huh. Exactly. There's nothing to brag about. I think you should be reflecting on your regular behaviour. Ah, you're right. I wouldn't feel this way if Rena brought me a Hagi. Rena's really good at cooking. They're small, but very carefully made. Huh? I've never made a Hagi before. Huh? What was I saying? Keiichi's remembering. Why did I say that Rena had made ohagi before? Why would I know that Rena makes her ohagi small but neatly? I had no idea where that memory was coming from. I could only assume it was an error in my brain. Mion was saying that this was her first time bringing ohagi to class. As I tilted my head in confusion, everyone started reaching inside the box. Rena took out one for me and put it on the lid. I stared at it closely. What was I so concerned about? Mion said that I was probably concerned that she did something to the ohagi. But it wasn't quite that. I really didn't know how to explain it. I felt like I was forgetting something important. I'd forgotten something important. And all I had was the obligation to remember it. In front of me was nothing but a single ohagi that came from Mion's house. I was frustrated. But I really couldn't think of anything. There's no way I could remember it, because I didn't know anything. Keiichi, you've been staring at your ohagi for a long time. What's the matter? It's just, I'm experiencing deja vu. Don't you get it sometimes? It's your first time seeing something, but you feel like you've seen it before? So you feel like Mion has given you a Hagi in the past? I'm sure it's just my imagination. Mion just told me that she had never brought a Hagi to school before. Keiichi, you can't have memories of what didn't happen. If you remember something, I'm sure it really happened before. Rika-chan told me something strange. I didn't usually take her random comments seriously. But ever since I saw her making those predictions in the toy store, I've been curious about her special powers. I felt like she was telling me something deep. It's weird to hear that from you, since you're so great at making predictions. Are you talking about the cycle of reincarnation or something? I don't know much about religion. I just want to tell you that if you know about something, that's something that happened to you. I want you to try and remember whatever happened. I don't want you to treat it like you're just mistaken. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I guess. I was a little surprised by how serious she sounded. I always thought that Rika was just an innocent girl who fooled around all the time saying things like meep and nipa. But all of a sudden, she seemed like a totally different girl. Was I supposed to take it as a joke? The serious look on her face told me it wasn't the time for jokes though. If that's what you're telling me, then I guess I got ohagi from Mion in a previous life. I won't make fun of you, so please tell me everything. Why did me give you that ohagi? The more I think about it, the more I think it's just my imagination. Maybe it was just a dream. I don't care if it was a dream. You must remember something. Please tell me. What was up with her? She seemed so curious about it. I didn't think the story was that interesting. Her asking so much started making me feel uncomfortable. Still, something told me that I needed to talk to Rika-chan about everything I could. Maybe she could predict my future by reading my dreams. I should tell her everything. After all, she's the shrine maiden for Oyashiro-sama. Well, I think I skipped school that day. I had a cold or something. My memory was scattered all over my brain, like powder. I could see myself standing in front of the door. Mion was there, and someone else was standing there too. I think it was Rena. We're looking back at the very first arc, by the way, if you were a bit lost. Mion brought me ohagi so I would get better. I think she told me that her grandma made it, just like today. And then? Well, then I ate that ohagi, after they went back home. Then I found something inside the ohagi. I'm sure I saw it in a comic book or something. It's mixed up in my memory, but I'm sure I read it somewhere in some comic book. Because it can't be true. Keiichi, tell me what happened. What did you find inside the ohagi? And I read this scary comic book when I was little, and there was a sewing needle instead of somebody's burger. You remember what Shion was saying just now? It can be traumatic to hear a story like that when you're young. I didn't remember much about that comic. I think it was about this girl who had an accident, held a grudge against the person who caused the injury on her face. It's a really cheap plot now that I think about it, but since I was still a little kid, that comic really scared me. In one chapter, the girl casts a curse on the guy's food. He eats a burger with sewing needles inside it, and he goes all gah, something like that. It still freaked me out. The image was so grotesque and shocking to me. That grew into a kind of trauma, and for a while I searched for sewing needles in my food every time I ate something. That can be bad. I used to do that with bugs at one point. That lasted a while when I was little. I couldn't eat burgers for a while for that reason, like bugs in food. But my parents got concerned, and my hunger overcame the trauma. Eventually, that experience disappeared into the flow of time. I'm still a little worried about sewing needles every once in a while. I don't think about it all the time, of course. It'd be pretty rude if I poked at my food while eating lunch with you guys, wouldn't it? Of course, I know that no one would actually put a sewing needle inside my food. But you're still a little scared? Maybe I am somewhere inside my heart. So, you saw a sewing needle inside the ohagi that me gave you? You saw a sewing needle inside of one? Yeah, I did. Inside the ohagi, there was a needle just as I feared. Why was I telling her about something that was just my imagination? Mion and Rena came to see me when I took a day off from school while I was sick. That never happened, so obviously my brain was just making it up. But I spoke to Rika-chan, because she said she wouldn't make fun of me. You afraid of this ohagi now? Do you feel like there might be a needle inside? Is that why you're not eating it? I realised that Mion and Rena were also looking at me. They were wondering why I was staring at the ohagi without eating it. Oh, you don't like ohagi, Keiichi-chan? If you don't have to eat it. Mion was assuming that I didn't like ohagi. She felt bad for forcing me to eat something I didn't like. In turn, I felt guilty seeing the sad expression on her face. Sis, you must be convinced that you put something in it. Sort of. I immediately denied Shion's remark. No one else would understand what I'm saying. Even I didn't know. No, I know for sure that there's no sewing needle inside the ohagi. A sewing needle? Why would this old man put something like that in there? Of course he wouldn't. You're not the type to visit and bring something with you out of pure generosity. You might play a trick with Tabasco sauce or something, but you'd never put needles inside. You'd never do something as dangerous as that. I know you would never do such a thing. I grabbed the ohagi with my hand. As I brought it in front of my mouth, I felt the need to check it just in case. But I told myself clearly, "Hey, you wimp! When are you going to stop being scared of that stupid comic?" Mion brought these ohagi to treat everyone in the class. There's no way she put needles inside of these. I forced that stupid memory out of my brain and munched on the ohagi. It's delicious. Of course it is. There wasn't a needle inside, was there? No way. I'm really sorry. I was just caught up in a traumatic experience I once had. My heart had stopped pounding and I felt relieved. The next moment I got the urge to say something to Mion. It wasn't the right thing to say, but I just felt like I had to say it. Hey Mion. Huh? What is it? The ohagi was delicious. I'm glad I brought them then, even though they were really heavy. I didn't know why I wanted to tell her again that the ohagi was delicious. Guilt, probably. But I was glad I said that to her. I was finally released from that odd feeling. Well then, since Keiichi-chan overcame his fears and ate the ohagi, you should eat this squash, Satoko-chan. It's so soft and sweet. I don't like butternut either. I think that's what they're on about, butternut squash. How can that lunchbox always be so full of squash? You're going to give me a traumatic experience. Yeah. Shi-chan's trying so hard to stop Satoko-chan from hating squash. She's so passionate about it. Maybe she sees her as her future little sister. By the time I finished eating my ohagi, we'd return to our usual fun lunchtime. Keiichi, what if? What if what? What if you really do see a needle inside your food? What would you do? That's not gonna happen. Don't you threaten me, Rika-chan. Keiichi, what if it really happens? Rika-chan looked at me with a serious face as I joked around. What's gotten into her lately? Stop it. It's not gonna happen, and I don't believe it will. I'd just overcome my stupid trauma after all that. That's why I made that firm statement. I understand. Keiichi, I'm sorry I'm asking you so much. If you see a needle inside your food, it's definitely some kind of mistake. Please don't ever believe that it's me's fault. Just trying to tell me not to be suspicious of me, alright? Of course I won't. I would never be suspicious of my friends. I raised my fist in the air. Yeah. Mika-chan finally looked happy. She smiled as if she was relieved by my words. We've avoided both Shion's sort of torture prison under the Sonzaki house, and we've avoided the arc where Keiichi went a bit mad himself because of the sewing needle, because he now trusts his friends. There we go. That was a good part, actually. It explained a lot about why this arc is going so well. It just keeps getting better and better for Rika. So I can be, yeah, that's a midway point. But we're going to end things off there. You know, end of midway. So, this has been Greeny XI. I hope you've enjoyed this part. I have. I've liked seeing the other way that Keiichi's arc could play out if it went well instead. Or, you know, something like it. So, thanks again for watching, folks. I'll see you again in a bit.